Hi all, welcome to our channel and today's session will be covering about sprint retrospective. So sprint retrospective is the last event of a sprint. So we conclude the sprint through sprint retrospective. Now in sprint retrospective, we inspect and adapt. Now, what I mean by that? We inspect and adapt. Uh, we will we will inspect what we have created. We gather the feedback from the stakeholders and product owners during our sprint review. That feedback we will analyze, we will inspect what didn't go well, what went well, and what we need to improve so as to adapt to the changes that are being suggested by the stakeholders and the product owner during sprint review. So we will inspect. There might be few dependencies, there might be few um, blockages, some blockers. So all those plus the sprint review feedback we will inspect in our retrospective. So usually the retrospective is handled by a very simple way, like what went well, what didn't go well, what we learned, and then what are the action items or improvements. So we will first of all analyze what we did well, that we should keep on doing it, we should continue that. What we didn't do well and why. Like for example, there we found out that there was a dependency of one code on another team. We found out maybe late during the sprint. However, we will capture that feedback. We will learn from that going forward, maybe we will capture these in action items, that we need to call out the dependencies in the initial days of the sprint, or if possible, before the sprint even starts. During product backlog refinement to sprint planning, we have few days. In those days, if we can find out the dependencies, so we make the checklist. Maybe we make dependency checklist. So these all are captured in the action items. So how a retrospective is run? Retrospective is run, facilitated actually by a scrum master. The inputs to retrospective are sprint increment, team experiences, definition of done, sprint review feedback, or any changes that we think should be part of that retrospective. So these are the input and sprint goal. Not to forget sprint goal. So these are the inputs of our retrospective. With these inputs in mind, a scrum master runs the retrospective. While running the retrospective, you should have a small slider created in front of your team. So why I'm asking a slider is, it's easy for human interaction to see the images and capture them in the mind than just speaking and then capturing them in the mind. So if you have a slider open in front of the team with some few like ground rules, input, output, what would this be? Just a one page slider. It shouldn't be overwhelming for the team, like 3-4 pages. No, it has to be just one page slider with the name of the project. I can show you in the description that how you should make the slider. I will just attach one for reference in the description. And then the sprint goal and inputs, outputs, and then we should have some basic ground rules that it's a blame free zone. we will only focus on actionable items, measurable actionable items. There are few actionable items which are not measurable, like for example, how much user stories we have completed. Something like measurable we should write in our action items. So these all things. And not to forget, very important thing, metrics. You should have the metrics of your sprint listed on the slider. Metrics, maybe you can have a burn down chart, maybe you can have the velocity of the team. So this way, when you start the meeting, you start with a positive note. Say, hey all, thank you for joining today's retro. Today we'll conclude the sprint with this meeting, so I hope you all are excited. Then sometimes the team feels really boring. You can just insert a small icebreakers, like for example, all right, I think the team looks a bit silent, guys. Why not we play a quick small team building activity? Maybe you can just say, all right, what is your morale? In one word, just describe. You can round robin. Can you tell me your morale? Blah, blah, blah. Can you? This way the team, energizes and come into that mode again. So you can just quit. Mind it, you should not do bigger icebreaker activities, because time boxing is one key factor a scrum master should always be aware of. Okay, so you can do small team building activities, but not a bigger one, because we need to be mindful about the time as well. So yes, so how will we start? We start by this. Before starting, we present the slider. In the slider, I mention what you should have. Along with that, you should also have a metrics as I told you, a burn down chart may be small, or a velocity. So this way the team focus is only on what are we heading to, what is our agenda. So if you do not have these things, the team mind is not focused. They might bring any damn point, and you don't want to mess up your retro. You want to structure your retro. It should be within structure, right? It should be within limits, so you can create. If you just say the team, hey, we found that velocity of our team went this much, which is a good thing. Now let's see how we can improve the velocity in upcoming sprints. That way, the team knows that what they have to discuss. Okay, so one thing that, and then after metrics, after this, you start by like, what went well, what didn't go well. Sometimes the team might also give very lame um, messages or very lame inputs, like, can you remove this person from our team? We're not able to work with that person. So see, you as a scrum master should be focused that it is not a person, or we are not pointing anybody. It's a collaborative effort. It's a collaborative event that we are doing. We have to improve the process collaboratively, not by pointing anybody. Okay, so you have to coach your team that hey guys, let's, as I already shown in my slider, that it's a blame free zone. So I would appreciate if we all can follow the ground rules, and let's not pinpoint anybody, as we all are together improving the process. So let's see what measurable actions we can take, and then capture that person's point in the action items. So like this, and later on you can prioritize those action items. You can refine that later and share it with your team. You can put those action items in one user story, and you can give it as a one pointer, and you can keep refining it. Keep it up to you. Keep refining it, and assign an owner to every action, because if an action doesn't have owner, that action will not be completed minded. So after every maybe after sprint retrospective, you can assign the owner in front of all the actions, and then you can ask team inputs that what on priority, which action should we pick first. Based on that, you can bring that in the backlog, and maybe you can bring that in the sprint backlog for the next sprint, upcoming sprint as well. So yeah, and then the outcome of the sprint retrospective is the plan on the feedback and a working agreement. Okay, you also, yes, a very important point, you also refine your definition of done in sprint retrospective. So definition of done is, you only have the chance to refine definition of done in your sprint retro. So yes, during sprint retro, you should also bring your definition of done. The guys, this is our definition of done. This is our checklist. Do you want me to add anything? Do you want me to remove anything? As per team consent, do that and save it. Okay, so we are done with sprint retrospective. Go watch this again and again. What should be? If you want any help, I'm here on write in comment section. My Gmail is there. Guys, I'm also thinking we can also have a mock sessions. If I have more team members, if you comment me down, we can someday arrange a mock sessions as well for all the Scrum events. For now, I hope I'm adding some value to your lives to increase your knowledge, and yeah, we are a one team and working in collaboration. Thank you. Bye. Take care.